Hi everyone, my name is Erin Kane and I'm a senior digital media and broadcast production major. For my senior project, I decided to make a television series and script the pilot episode. So before I get into what my series is about and before I get into my pitch to pitch to all of you, I am going to talk to you about my writing process and the different, aspects of my life that brought me to where I am today and why I chose this project. So first things first, I think everybody needs to find that little bit of motivation. And truth be told, I think I never really needed to find motivation. It's just the actual act of doing it, which is the challenging part for me, I think. Growing up, I was always seen with the camera. So has always been my passion. I've always loved doing it. But yeah, I was always seen with the camera. I've always, filmed various things in my life. I would film, vacations. I would film, my friends doing weird stuff. I would film YouTube videos. Like, I was just always seen with the camera, and that's something that truly made me happy. But I think the process of filming the actual video wasn't always my favorite part. Now, don't get me wrong, I love that aspect of it, and it's a big part of video making, obviously. It's literally in the name. I think my motivation and what kept pushing me to do all this was just the idea that, when I created this content, when I created that video, it would bring happiness to, people. Even if it was just one person or just my best friends or just my mom, I knew that my videos were making some sort of impact, some sort of positive impact on the people around me. And I think that was just what made me really happy. That was always my ultimate goal, as it should be for all of us, just, being happy and bringing people happiness. All of that, it always comes over on top for me. I just always knew that my videos were able to do that, and that was kind of my outlet. Just being able to create stuff for people to, be happy about. So that was my ultimate motivation. And to this day, that is still, one of my main goals is to create content and stuff that makes people happy, especially the people around me. That is always number one for me. And yeah, so then the next process or the next step to creating my television series would have to be, the idea, in one big word, just the idea. Again, I always have things going through my head. I always have different television shows. I always have different movie ideas. I always have different YouTube videos and TikToks. Now that's the new thing now. I always have those ideas running through my head. Some, ideas are a little bit more, eccentric, than others. They're a little bit more, cost heavy, I think. But, I always have those ideas going through my head. So finding the idea for my television show wasn't hard. The hard part and the most challenging part to all of this was getting those ideas and putting them on a piece of paper. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to me on this one. It's easy to think of stuff. It's easy to, obviously it's like a natural human thing to just think. But it's easy to think of ideas, and it's easy to think of these characters and to put them in your head and these storylines in your head. That's easy. The hard part is taking those ideas and putting them on a piece of paper, and that's one thing that I really needed to kind of learn, and I really needed to figure out. But now I will say, I give a big shout out to Marywood and my professors at Marywood. I had a variety of amazing people in my life at Marywood, and I will get into the specific people, narrow it down a little bit later in the video. But I learned a lot at Marywood, is basically what I'm trying to say. I learned a lot. I learned how to write a script. I learned how to properly use a camera. I learned how to write. I learned how to market myself. I learned how to market the content that I produced. I just learned a lot, and I'm very, very grateful for that. And I think my education at Marywood really helped me push and really helped me, best portray the ideas in my head and onto the piece of paper. the different tools and stuff that I learned at Mirrorwood really helped me with creating this series. So for that, I thank you. And then my last, big step or big thing when I categorize my my process in making the senior project would just be the overall process. It's been a crazy year, as we all know, but I think just sitting down and doing and writing and that's always kind of a struggle for some people. And I think the best way that I found to write was not to set aside 10 minutes every day to write. It wasn't to pick one day of the week and write as much as I can. There's so many different ways that you could write whatever, but I think for me it was just when I was creative and when I felt creative, when I felt like I had inspiration or whatever, that's when I would sit down and write. There wasn't a time of day, there wasn't a schedule for me. It was just kind of like when I felt like it, when I felt like that power within me to sit down and write the best as I possibly can, that's when I did it. And I think that's what made this whole series for me, was just kind of doing it when I felt like I was the most inspired to. So so I think it's just the overall process. And also I would like to also make it a point that having senior seminar, it was big for me because especially in school and stuff, it's crazy to do creative stuff when you have 30 other things lined up in front of it. So I think that was awesome about senior seminar, was that I had these times in the week allotted for me to just sit down and focus on my creative side, and that's what I loved about it. And I think maybe I just needed that little extra push of senior seminar to make me truly believe that writing and being creative was what brought me the most happiness and was my passion. So I'm so grateful for that. And, thank you, Senior Seminar, for doing that for me. So without further ado, I'm going to stop talking about, my life now and talk about my pilot episode for my television series called The Life Element. So my television show is called The Life Element. I chose this name because I feel as though my show is going to take you through every aspect of a college student life, from the good times to the gut-wrenching negative realities. I consider these moments just little elements of a person's entire life. So yes, we're all very uniquely different, and I know that in some sort of capacity, we're all living that same life, and we're all feeling those same emotions, and going through the same kind of feelings throughout the college experience. My show is going to highlight the life of Mitchell Park. He's an extraordinary pre-med student, he's a baseball star, and he attends at a private university, and he's just going through the everyday struggles of being a college student, all while raising his younger siblings. My pilot episode is going to highlight the life of journalism major Charlie Robinson. After her health impacted the normal start of college for her, which usually happens in August, she is forced to start a semester later than the rest of the freshmen and start the spring semester. In the pilot episode, we were also introduced to her roommate, Leah Watkins. She's 20-year-old, she's sarcastic, she's tomboyish, she's immature. Basically, she's an art student who really just doesn't care all that much. We are then introduced to another main character, Sophie Wright. And in the first episode, Sophie acts as a mentor to Charlie, as Charlie is faced with her first challenge of trying to find her first story for the school newspaper. Sure. Now, without giving too much away, Charlie overhears what could possibly be big news for someone. Hint, hint, that certain someone is that guy I mentioned earlier, Mitchell Park. So the remainder of the first episode, Charlie is working to nail down her first story and to try to figure out more on who this Mitchell Park is and what his big news is. So will she get her first story out by the deadline? Will Mitchell let someone else tell his big news? And how does her health impact all of this? Well, all those questions plus more will be answered throughout the series. And we will dive deeper in who Mitchell Park is and the life he lives. And we'll also learn a lot more about the current characters, and we'll also be introduced to some new ones. So that's my pitch for my first episode of a television series I like to call The Life Element. So there you have it. That was my pilot episode's pitch. Obviously, that is a very small fraction of what a whole television series is. That is a very light introduction to what you can expect from my television series. Hopefully soon. Maybe I'll start writing the rest of the series very soon, and I would love to share that with all of you in some sort of capacity. So just to wrap everything up, I do have a few people I would like to thank. First and foremost, I want to thank God for giving me the great fortune of being here today and for blessing me with the life that I live. I am so grateful for that. I would also like to thank all of my friends, all of my family members. That includes aunts, uncles, cousins, second cousins, the whole big life that I live. I want to thank all of you. I want to thank my chosen family. You all know who you are. For always supporting me, and I'm always so grateful to have all of you in my life. I also have some professors I want to thank. I want to thank Dr. Lawrence. He's my advisor. He's been my advisor the past 3 years. Dr. Lawrence, you taught me how to even write a script. So without your knowledge in your class, I wouldn't have even been able to do this project to the best of my ability. And I'm so grateful for everything that you've taught me in that class and beyond. Thank you for everything. I also want to thank Dr. Ratanis. Dr. Ratanis, you are a staple in our department. We would definitely be lost without you. And, I'm just so thankful that you supported me throughout my journey at Marywood. So thank you. I also want to give a shout out to Kim Petro. Kim, everybody could probably relate when they say they go to you for a lot more than just equipment. You are always, there for everybody. You're always there to listen. You're always there to give, your 2 cents on different things. And, we are so grateful. And I really think everybody needs a Kim in their life because, you do a lot more for us than just giving out equipment. You helped me this year, especially with being a station manager. You've helped me, really reach my fullest potential at TVM and beyond. And I'm very grateful for you. So thank you. I also want to thank Ernie. Ernie, obviously, you're everybody's first comm teacher, and you've taught me a lot of the awesome, basic things in the comm department, and, your knowledge never goes unnoticed for everything that you could do in the control room and beyond. So thank you for all of that, and thank you for taking your time out and, helping the comm department and doing what you do. So thank you. I would also like to thank Dr. Richards. She's our, advisor for senior seminar. Thank you for being so supporting and so accommodating throughout this whole process. And I'm so grateful for you too. This wouldn't have been possible without you. So thank you. I'd also want to thank my lovely boyfriend, Nicolo. Nicolo, you started out as, just my mentor kind of at Marywood. I would often go to you for, various things in TVM and at Beyond the Arch and stuff, and you were always a helping hand. And then you soon became one of my very best friends, and then, of course, my boyfriend. And I'm just so grateful for you every single day. And, I can have a whole soliloquy about how much you mean to me, but thank you for everything that you do for me. From putting a smile on my face to teaching me something new, you're always there, and you're my favorite person. So thank you so much. And then, of course, I do want to thank, my dad and my mom. Dad, you've always been so supportive of me in everything that I've done. You taught me not to take life so seriously, and I thank you for that. And of course, last but certainly not least, I want to thank my mother. Mom, you have always been, of course, like I've been saying, so supportive of me, but, from everything, from, obviously growing up, from sports to just general life. I know you've always been my number one fan, and, you always taught me that hard work always pays off, and, you're my role model, and I want to say thank you for everything that you've done for me up to this point, and then what you will do for me for the rest of forever, I guess. I don't know. yeah, thank you for everything. But yeah, so thanks everyone for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. And like I said, well, not that I said, but if you guys want to see my script or you have any more questions about my pitch, I'll leave my email and you could reach out to me, and I would be, so happy to share with you my work. Thanks.